Hey, what's up guys? Jose here, shreddeddad.com. No, this is not something out of my bedroom. This is actually a dream machine. I'm going to show you how to set this up today at your home gym. It's actually a very simple setup. All it is a couple pulleys up there, and then we have a handle on each side, and then the cable connects to a harness down here, or a belt in my case. So this is something that's used by gymnasts in order to perform the harder difficulty exercises, such as the iron cross, planches, muscle ups, stuff like that that's done on the rings that requires progression, and this is what they use in order to spot themselves. This is basically going to reduce your weight by about 50%. The exercises are still very difficult, however, this will allow you to progress to doing your own body weight. So you can do exercises such as like the muscle up. I'm going to show you here. Muscle up into a planche, into an iron cross, and other difficult exercises such as this one. So I'm going to show you the setup. Very, very simple to set up. As long as you anchor down the top correctly, you should be having a lot of fun. Here's everything you're going to need to complete this project. You're going to need a harness. I'm using a weight belt, and instead of having D-rings on the side, I'm using some soft loose straps. But if you get a climbing harness that has some D-rings on the side, that would work out just fine. Now right next to that we have two eye-lag screws. These are 3/8 of an inch by 4.5 inch. Each one of them holds about 230 pounds. You're going to need two cables. Now whether you use climbing rope or metal cable is up to you. You're also going to need two pulleys. One's in there, one's in there. You're going to need 6 carabiners. Now it doesn't matter what size you get, just make sure that whatever carabiner you get fits into the pulleys. Okay, very important. So you're going to need 6 of those, and then you're going to need 2 handles. Now the handles can be substituted for rings as well. So there's a lot of substitutions that can be done here. This is just what I have inside my garage gym. So I actually made this without having to spend any additional money. I already had all this stuff with me. So there it is right there. You can stop the video if you need to, and that way get a screenshot of everything you need. So here's the setup for the Dream Machine. I laid it out on the floor, and I'm going to walk you through each piece of equipment that I'm using. It's actually a very simple setup. It's two cables around the pulley, and then you have 2 handles, and then a harness or a belt. So let's start at the bottom here. This is actually just a weightlifting belt. Of course, you can substitute this with a climbing harness with D-rings on the side. You want to make sure you have some sort of D-rings on the side of that belt or the harness, and what I've done is I've used these soft tie loops. Okay, these are very inexpensive, and of course I'm going to leave links below this video. Now right next to those, or attached to those soft tie loops, I have a carabiner on each side. Okay, and then we're connecting that to a cable. Now this is a wire cable that I had for my pulley system, so I'm using the same cable. In your case, you may want to use climbing rope. You can go either way, and I'm actually going to leave a link below this video to that link where I actually made that pulley system, so you can check that out as well. So from the start, from the middle here, we have a belt, 2 places to anchor down a carabiner. So it may be a D-ring on a harness, or in my case I'm using soft tie loops, and then we have the cable to attach the carabiner to. So that's the center part. Now over here on the side I have a handle. You can substitute this for a ring if you want to. And we have a carabiner right there, and once again it's attaching to the cable. And if we walk up to the top of the cable here, what we have is a swivel pulley attached to a carabiner, and then we have an eye-lag screw, as you can see right there. These are very inexpensive. The eye-lag screw is about 87 cents. I got that from Home Depot, and this one in particular is 3/8 of an inch by 4.5 inch, and this holds up to 230 pounds. So when you combine both of those, you have a lot of weight, over 400 pounds that you can hold. So same on the other side. There's the eye-lag screw. We have the carabiner, swivel pulley, and then we work our way down the cable. Again, a carabiner and the handle that can be substituted for a ring. So that's the whole setup. Very easy setup. Now the most important part of all this is the anchor point where you're going to get those eye lag screws into your ceiling joist, because if that's sturdy, then you're going to be good. If you don't do a good job of attaching that to the ceiling joist, then you're going to have a problem. You're going to fall. So you got to make sure you get that down. But this is the whole setup, very simple. And now you know how it's made. Because this is going to be suspending you up in the air, I want to make sure you know how to find a ceiling joist. So I'm going to show you how I do it. So I use two different wall stud finders. I use one that's digital and then one that's magnetic. The magnetic one's going to stick anywhere there's a nail on the ceiling, so that tells me there is a ceiling joist there. And then this one is going to show you the edges of the stud find, or the studs, or the ceiling joist. So I'm going to go ahead and start this. I'm going to work from the side, and this is going to beep at me whenever it finds the edge of a ceiling joist. So I'm going to mark that down there. That's one edge. So I want to find the other side now, the other edge. Come from the other side, work my way in, and then I'm going to mark that right there as well. So this tells me there is a ceiling joist right here, and then this confirms that it's right on the center there. So that's how you find it, very simple. Now what you want to do is you want to pre-drill, you want to put a pilot hole in here before you insert the eye lag screw. That pilot hole is going to make sure that whenever you insert that screw, you're not going to crack the wood inside there. So before you insert the eye lag screw into the ceiling joist, you want to make sure you pre-drill a pilot hole with a drill bit. Okay, so you're going to need that. And it's very important because that's going to make sure that you get the right size hole in the ceiling joist. Now you know you have the right drill bit when, if you overlap the drill bit over the eye lag screw, you can still see the threads sticking out. Okay, that's how you know you got the right size. And that's very important because the threads need somewhere to attach to. You don't want to make the hole too big, and then you're not going to be able to attach to anything. So as long as you can see the threads behind the drill bit, then you know you have the right size. So here's a view from the top. We have the eye lag screws about 3 feet apart from each other. Then connected to that you have a carabiner, the pulley, and then the cable that runs down. One end is going to be on the handle, the other end is going to be on the harness, and that's all there's to it. It's a very simple setup. Now you want to make sure these eye lag screws are on there securely. So one thing you can do to make sure they're really tight on there is insert a screwdriver through the center of the eye lag screw and then turn it as hard as you can to your right to make sure that it's on there tightly. Okay, that's going to help you get more leverage by inserting that screwdriver in there to make sure that it's on there, and just twist it as far as you can. Make sure it's on there tightly so that you are suspended securely. And that is that whole setup. Hey, it's the Shredded Dad. Here's the Dream Machine already mounted to the ceiling. I'm going to walk you through it one more time, but it's the same thing we saw right on the floor. So right in the front here we have the weightlifting belt. Again, you can get a climbing harness to make it easier. Then on the side here we have a handle. The handle is connected to a carabiner. That carabiner is connected to a wire cable in my case, but in your case you can get climbing rope. And that goes up to a pulley that's connected to a carabiner, and that carabiner is connected to the eye lag screw that we bolted into the ceiling joist. Then that comes down, and we have the end of the cable here connected to a carabiner, connected to a soft loop. Again, this soft loop could be substituted for a D-ring on a climbing rope. I'm sorry, on a climbing harness. And then on the other side it's going to be the same thing. So both sides are equal. And then we come back down to the other handle. This other handle could also be substituted for a gymnastics ring. So that's the whole setup right there. Pretty straightforward. As long as you anchor down the eye lag screws, everything should be okay. That's the most important part because that's what's going to be holding your weight up. You want to make sure that's anchored down correctly. So there you have it, guys. Now you know how to set up a Dream Machine at your home gym in order to practice those difficult maneuvers done by gymnasts. It's not only cool to watch, but it's also very cool to actually watch yourself progress to doing more and more of your own body weight. I hope you liked the information in this video. If you liked it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Leave me your comments and questions down below. And a lot of the materials used here you can find at your local hardware store. But either way, I'm going to leave the links down below just in case you can't find them. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and make sure you subscribe to the channel.